2018 came out with a movie that is almost like really starring Leslie Mann and John Cena and Ike. I always forget his last name. It's like Ike Barnholt. If he Barnholt. I hope I got his last name right. I probably didn't, but this movie came out and I saw the trailer and I was like, wow, that's wild. Well, on this episode movie breakdown, we're going to grade Blockers. We're going to give it an A through L, plus or minus a do count. So what's the final grade for it? Well, we'll find out today on this episode. But before I hop into it, I do want to let you guys know that movie breakdown is a movie review series. We look at new and old movies, give them a grade A through L, plus or minus a do count. And if there's a review you want me to do, please put in the comment section below and I get to it as best I can. Also have a Patreon /Ali for $2 a month. Get the cut in front of everybody, get your review out, wait for it, coming out on Facebook and YouTube. Now, let's go ahead and get into today's episode, 2018's Blocker. And what is Blockers about? Well, you have three parents who find out their daughter is trying to have a pack to lose their virginities by the end of prom. So it's a prom pack to lose their virginities by the end of prom, and the parents are now trying to stop them from doing such a thing. One parent really don't want her daughter to make the same mistake that she made when she lost her virginity at the end of prom and thus having her have a kid. She didn't want that same, make sure the time was right situation. You have one dad who just cared something his daughter's growing up. You have another dad who's like, my daughter's actually, she's not into guys, so why is she about to hook up with this dude? So he's trying to stop his daughter from doing that because he's like, you're not into guys, so what are you doing? So they're like, don't pretty much follow the pack because your friends are following it. Do it because you want to do it. So you have three parents who all are pretty much dealing with their own stuff on top of trying to start their daughters from losing their virginities on prom night. And that's the gist of Blockers. I'm gonna call it Prom Night, but I think that's another movie of Blockers. The things I like, this movie was funny. I did have a good time. It's a comedy. It's considered comedy drama, and I did have fun. There's some jokes in this movie that made me laugh and me chuckle, and things I remember after this movie is over. I was like, that was a fun scene. That's wild. That's crazy. I do like how the movie is open about, about losing your virginity and about sexuality and about just, I don't know where to say this, sex, like intercourse. I do like how the movie's open about that. You have some families who don't mind talking about it. So you have families who's like, no, this is what, we have this conversation. There's no ickiness behind it. There's no, oh my gosh, you shouldn't be doing this or you're going to be shamed for doing this. They have a conversation about it and they're open with their kids about it. You have another parent who's like, let your daughter be a daughter. Let her make her own decisions. She's smart. She's intelligent. She's not going to do something that will put herself in jeopardy or in danger. And I like that aspect of it. And of course, you have our three main characters who are like the traditional parents, like, oh my gosh, we don't even talk to our kids about this. Oh, now what we've done versus like, no, just have a conversation with your kid. Matter of fact, John Cena's character, his wife is more like, our daughter is smart, our daughter's intelligent, she knows about it, she's not gonna be stupid with it. And Mitch is like, oh no. John Cena's character is like, oh no, she doesn't know. I gotta stop her from doing this. That dude, he's trying to take advantage of my daughter. He has a smirk on his face. I don't like him. So the movie is a fun movie. It's a good time. I had fun. It's definitely rated R, so it's not a family movie in a sense. I wouldn't watch it with your kids, but definitely you can watch it with high schoolers and watch it with college, pretty much 18, 16 on up, I think, will understand this movie and get the jokes behind it versus anybody under the age of 16. That's how I will watch this movie. So this is not a Friday night movie. I wouldn't say it's a Friday night movie. Watch your friends and family. A movie, watch your friends, yes. With your family, 16 and up will be where I'll put this movie at, as far as that. I know I normally wait to the end of the movie, but I feel like I have to put that disclaimer in there now. But this movie, yeah, as far as the acting goes, good job. Everybody committed to what they were trying to commit to. Now, some of the dislikes in this movie, there's a scene in this movie where it really stuck out to me where Ike is breaking down what happened with his relationship. He cheated on his wife and they got a divorce and he was getting pinned as the bad guy. But in reality, he started going through what's going on. He told his friends that they're stranded, Mitch and Leslie. He started telling them hey, this is what happened in my relationship. This is where my wife wasn't talking to me anymore. We wasn't talking, wasn't touching, wasn't doing anything intimate. And every time I tried, I was kind of got made fun of, and it wasn't going anywhere. And she cheated on me, but I didn't say any of that. So when I did it, I got put on blast, and it was a scene where Ike should have been crying, and you couldn't tell if he was actually crying, but he's like, you can hear it in his voice, like he was getting choked up, but you couldn't tell because the light on his face was like dark, so you couldn't see if he was shedding a tear or not. And to me, I think that hurts that scene a lot, because that's a very intense moment and very dramatic moment where, like, oh, we're feeling for somebody who we don't get the other side of it, which is a very big deal in relationships and families. Like, the person who cheats, you don't get that their side of it. You always gonna get ostracized as you're the cheater, you're a family ruiner, but you don't get their side of things. And when he was breaking it down, you don't see his face because the light is like, the shadow is like right there on his eyes where he will be crying at. So you don't see that. And then right after that scene, it's felt by some comedy. Like, it's like legit, like this moving to another comedy bit, and you're like, ah. And then that scene just rolls over, which is a very powerful scene where, like, Ike, John Cena, and Leslie, their characters were all revealing why they are afraid to lose their kids in such a way because of all the stuff they dealt with. Like, they're finally revealing what hurts. Leslie character is a woman who's been raising her kids by herself. She's a single mom, and for her, seeing John Cena's character, who has a wife, who has a kid, who has a quote unquote perfect family, she doesn't like that. For her, it bothers her. Like, she's envy of that. So she's revealing that to John Cena, while Ike character's kind of been ostracized from the group, and he's not even in the friend circle anymore. But when they all be in the movie, their kids all became friends. They're like, oh, we become friends too. But Ike always kind of like pushed to the side. And this movie hits on those certain themes and certain topics where, like, okay, you're friends because your kids are friends, so therefore y'all get a bond together. And then what does your friendship looks like? And then your kids are also their own kids, and their own, like, people, their own humans who are smart enough to make their own decisions. As the parents find out towards the end of the movie that each one of the kids are all smart about how they handle their decisions. They all went through their own thing and all was like, yeah, I didn't want to do it. One of them actually do hook up with her boyfriend for the first time, and she made sure they had condoms. They had a bunch of other stuff laid out, and they was protective about it. And the mom got to see, like, okay, it wasn't just a taking advantage situation. Like, they actually, got up and danced a little bit, and then twirled a little bit, and had the whole room made in flowers and like almost like a Valentine's Day room set up. But the mom realized, like, Leslie realized, like, oh man, like, they actually do care about each other. This is not something, I shouldn't be here. And like, she was like, it wasn't the same feeling that she had when she lost hers, where it was just like anywhere. They actually had a hotel room and all this stuff. So the movie does, like, it's a moment that everybody goes through about, like, losing their virginity, but also like how to do it in a certain way. And it just a topic that everybody in life kind of goes around. And this movie brought it to the forefront. Instead of being guys like, oh, let's all hook up, and at the end of the movie it's like a bunch of girls like, let's all do it, and the parents try to stop them. It's a fun comedy movie that has comedy bits in here, but also serious moments in the movie where people are like, okay, I need to come out to my friends and tell them that I'm not into boys, and will they accept me? And your friends like, yeah, okay, we love you no matter what, and go have fun. And like those scenes and questioning who you are, and like, this movie has a lot of serious stuff in it that unfortunately a lot of people won't really watch because the movie's called Blockers, and it has like a rooster in front of the word blockers, and it just like, it looks like a more comedy movie. And a lot of these movies, like this movie reminds me of the movie The Change Up, where that movie has a very serious theme behind it, but the reason why it doesn't get brought up a lot because it's Ryan Reynolds and Jason Bateman, and the reason why the movie don't get brought up a lot because it's a comedy movie. What's another movie that like hits like that? 40-Year-Old Virgin. This movie falls in those realms where it's a serious movie where it don't get brought up a lot because of the fact that it's a comedy movie, but it had a lot of serious tones in it about reality and life. And this movie does the same thing. It was a wholesome, to me, it's a raunchy movie in certain parts, but it was a fun time. Dislikes, it's a comedy movie, and therefore not all the stuff can be sewed together. You're gonna have certain stuff that happens that makes no sense. You have parties going on for no reason. You have people just acting a fool for no reason. Scenes that just happen, like somebody's shirt's untucked and it's tucked back in, or somebody sits on the bed and falls over. Like, it's a comedy movie, so things like that can happen that you notice. You're like, yeah. Or like how every time a serious moment gets undercut by a comedy bit because it's a comedy movie. It's comedy first, then everything else comes along with it. But I think the cast in this movie had a fun time. I think everybody had a fun time with this movie. All right, let's get into cast and details. So Blocker came out 2018, it's rated R. It's an hour and 42 minutes. The director is Kay Cannon. She directed this movie, and then the writers are Brian Kehoe and Jim Kehoe. The budget for this movie was $21 million, and it grossed worldwide $94 million. So I guess they made their money. We'll see. We'll see how that turns out. The cast and crew, like, I don't know, like 21 million, they made 94 million, hit 100 million. So I don't know if that's a good thing, good day at the office. I'm not sure, but yeah, they look like they got their money, but I may broke even. The cast, Leslie Mann, who played Lisa. I thought Leslie did a good job. She's that fun character, kind of like serious, but also trying to be like that cool mom kind of character. Thought she did a good job in this movie. John Cena, who played Mitch, thought he did a good job as well. He was the straight narrow dad, like, I'm all about sports and everything. Let's go. Let's get it. And there's actually a funny scene where Leslie was trying to break down the game plan to John Cena's character, and she was saying like, okay, it's the bottom of the third quarter. We only got 2 passes left. And he was like, but there's a whole nother quarter. And Ike, who's kind of like, who plays Hunter, he's also like the dad who's kind of like a deadbeat dad, but he's not a deadbeat dad. He just doesn't have the opportunity to really hang out with his kid, and he let his relationship with his wife, his ex-wife, intervene with his daughter, which he's like, I shouldn't have done that. And he apologized for that. He's kind of like in the background, who's kind of like on both people's side. If Leslie and Mitch are 2 different angles, Ike is right there in the middle. He's like right there. He's like the middle of both of them. And he was like, no, you're not hitting the right thing, Leslie. Not saying the right thing. But I just thought it was funny with that. Like, she was trying to relate to John, and Leslie's character, Lisa, was not relating to John in a good way. But John is such a sports guy. He's that sports right there, like down the line. Like, I'm about sports. Make sure my daughter knows everything about sports. We'll get through this together, and all we can reach to him is talk sports to him. So I thought he did a great job as that, and Ike being the character who's considered a cheater, who's like the fun, loose dad, thought he did a good job as well, and he has his serious moments, and all of them have their serious moments in this movie that like hit you in a sense. So good job on the writing for them. Catherine Newton, who plays Julie, I saw her in Detective Pikachu. And I remember, like, Detective Pikachu, I felt like she felt out of place. In this movie, she felt like she felt right in. Like, I thought she did a good job being the character who's kind of like leading the pack and everything. Like, oh, we're all going to do this. Woohoo! She is Lisa's, Leslie, daughter in this movie. I thought she did a good job as well. Geraldine Viswanathan. She played Kayla. Thought she did a good job as well. She was like, I'm down to do whatever what's gotta take. And then she just make the decision like, no, we're not going to do that. She's John Cena's daughter. Thought she did a good job. Gideon Alden, who plays Sam, she is Ike's daughter in this movie. Thought she did a good job as well. She's the one who's questioning who she was, and what she should be and who she should be with. I thought she did a great job. She was a fun character all around. Like, at the end of the day, I think these people did a great job bringing their characters to life, and you could get behind each character. So good job for them. Any other thoughts? No, I really don't have any other thoughts on this movie. Like, the music in this movie was just, it's a comedy movie. So you're going to have your licensed music in this movie. You're going to have your party music and songs about like being yourself and just have fun, because the movie is legit a movie about virginity. So be who you are, be yourself, be expressive, do when you want to do it, don't let anybody else control you kind of situation about what you want and what you want out of life. And this movie kind of hits those bits, and the songs in this movie plays to those bits in this movie. The original movie score in this movie, I don't really know, it's non-existent for most part. And that's probably it. The comedy, to me, the comedy worked for me. Other people, comedy is subjective, so it might not work for other people. But this movie, the comedy really hit. All right, is it a Friday night movie with your friends? And if you're with kids, 16 and up. If you're going to be watching this with your kids, 16 and up. I wouldn't watch this with anybody younger than the age of 16. I wouldn't watch it with anybody younger, like who's not a senior or junior in high school. Like, 16 up is where I watch this movie. Yeah, because they might get the jokes and everything. But this movie was a fun movie. and grading time. I'm gonna grade Blockers from 2018 a C+. This gets a 79% for me. I think it did a good job. There are bits in the movie where, like, yeah, it's a comedy movie, so it doesn't hit in certain spots. So therefore, like, I wouldn't put it in the B range per se, but it does do a good job. So 79% works for me, a C+. IMDb gives the movie a 6.2 out of 10. That is a D plus or D minus. Rotten Tomatoes, the critics give the movie an 84%. That is a B. And the audience gives this movie a 51%. That's an F. So I'm close to the critics in this sense with Rotten Tomatoes. I'm giving it a C plus, a 79%. I thought this movie, for the most part, did what it needed to do as far as a comedy movie goes, and did have a little bit of a heartfelt message. But there's stuff in this movie that I wouldn't, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, I probably wouldn't remember. And I feel like this movie didn't really make a star out of anybody, but it was just a fun flick. And sometimes average is not bad. So this movie was an average, fun comedy movie. Thought it did a good job. So yes, it gets a C plus for me. If you've seen Blockers from 2018, what did you think? Please put in the comment section below. Other than that, see you guys next episode of Movie Breakdowns, and keep being awesome. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I really appreciate that. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. If there's a review you want me to watch or do, let me know. Please put it in the comment section below this video. Also, you want to watch the last episode of Movie Breakdowns, it's right there. Just gotta click on it and you'll be able to watch it. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Love y'all, and keep being awesome.